The $10 gasket that destroys 426 Hemi engines. In 1964, Chrysler unleashed a 725-pound iron titan they never fully warned the public about. Officially, Tom Hoover's 426 Hemi was an invincible race engine, detuned just enough to dominate the streets. Nothing but pure, indestructible American power. But today, inside high-end restoration shops, the story is completely different. A $25,000 meticulously rebuilt masterpiece roars to life, only to gasp its last breath exactly 18 minutes later. It has not thrown a forged connecting rod. Instead, mechanics pull the dipstick and find a sickening tan milkshake. The elephant engine is quietly dissolving from the inside out. When builders tear down the valley, they find something the corporate archives buried: a fatal flaw hiding in plain sight. A $10 strip of cork is silently murdering the most feared block in history. Chrysler wanted racing dominance. What they left behind was a mechanical time bomb, unless you know the secret reverse torque loophole to disarm it. Hit like, share this with your garage crew, and drop your worst rebuild nightmare in the comments before we expose this $10 lie. To understand why your elephant engine is bleeding out, you must look at its genesis. In the early 1960s, Chrysler's Tom Hoover and the Ramchargers team were handed one brutal mandate: win the Daytona 500 at any cost. The 426 Hemi was a purebred weapon forced into street clothes purely to satisfy homologation rules. To wedge those gargantuan hemispherical heads between the shock towers of a standard coronet, Hoover's team had to physically tilt the cylinder heads 3 degrees inward. But this geometric compromise created a problem rarely discussed in factory manuals. It pushed the engine's sealing threshold to the limit. Engineers prioritized massive 2¼ inch intake valves and unrestricted airflow over long-term sealing longevity. This created a massive architectural divergence from its rivals. Look at a Ford 427 SOHC or a Chevy 454. Their intake manifolds are essentially lazy lids acting as air conduits. The Hemi's intake is entirely different. It acts as a stressed alignment component of the engine block. Because of the extreme port angles and the sheer mass of the iron heads, the manifold must bridge the gap and maintain perfect geometry under severe thermal load. During the NHRA Pro Stock Wars of the early 1970s, legendary teams like Sox and Martin knew this all too well. Between rounds, while Chevy mechanics were checking valves, Hemi builders were constantly retorquing their intake manifolds just to keep the triplane seal from walking. The 426 Hemi was designed to survive the fury of a race weekend. It was never engineered for 20 years of thermal cycling in a modern garage. Here is the forensic core of the failure. While a standard Chevy V8 relies on a forgiving 2-plane intake seal, the Hemi demands a chaotic triplane seal. The massive intake manifold must simultaneously mate perfectly flush against the cylinder head ports, the coolant crossover passages, and the engine block's front and rear China wall. But here is where the elephant geometry betrays you. During a standard rebuild, machine shops routinely deck the engine block or mill the heads to ensure a flat mating surface. Shaving off just 15/1000ths of an inch thinner than a matchbook cover completely shatters the manifold's geometric alignment. This microscopic misalignment forces the intake manifold to sit high, creating a gap at the China wall exactly where you are told to place that $10 cork or paper reproduction gasket. Then, modern chemistry finishes the murder. Today's modern organic acid technology coolants contain 2-ethylhexanoic acid, or 2-EHA. To the vintage organic glues binding that cheap gasket together, 2-EHA acts as a molecular solvent, literally eating the seal alive within a matter of weeks. The result is the ghost leak. You will never see a warning puddle of coolant on your garage floor. Because of the Hemi's massive 2¼ inch intake ports and extreme internal vacuum, The corrosive coolant is sucked directly inward. It drops straight down into the lifter valley, silently poisoning your $1,500 crankshaft's oil supply while the engine is running. Let us put this into a real-world shop scenario. A professional builder has a fresh 426 strapped to the dynamometer. The air-fuel ratios are dialed, and it is easily pushing the 490-plus horsepower that Chrysler originally hid from the insurance companies. The sensors read perfect, but during the third high RPM pull, the oil pressure drops by a mere 5 pounds per square inch. It is a fluctuation so small most operators will not abort the test. But inside the block, the damage is already irreversible. This is the Dyno Autopsy. When you tear this seemingly healthy block down, you will not find a shattered piston. You find a brutal bearing wash. The hydrodynamic oil film has collapsed. The engine's pristine $1,500 nitrided crankshaft is heavily scored, and the soft lead tin copper main bearings are wiped completely bare. The root cause? A microscopic tear in that $10 intake gasket allowed just 4 ounces of water to siphon into 7 quarts of racing oil. As veteran Mopar mechanics often note during these teardowns, the engine did not fail from horsepower, it failed from a hidden internal bleed. If the factory blueprint is a death sentence, how did Mopar legends like Dandy Dick Landy keep their Hemis together while pushing over 1,000 horsepower? Landy, a pioneer of the pro-stock era, understood a vital truth. The assembly manual was meant for average cars, not a blueprint for survival. To save the elephant, Landy exploited a mechanical loophole that modern pro builders still use today, the no-gasket end seal. The trick starts by taking those $10 factory cork strips and throwing them directly into the trash. Instead, builders utilize the dimple and bead method. Using a center punch, they physically dimple the smooth iron surface of the block's china wall. This mechanical etching creates microscopic teeth. Next, they apply a highly specific 1/4 inch high pyramid bead of ultra-black RTV silicone, giving the sealant a jagged surface to permanently bite into against massive internal crankcase pressures. But the real insider secret is the reverse torque sequence. Factory manuals tell you to torque the heads, then the intake. Landy reversed this entirely. He would torque the heads to just 50% of their final spec. Then, he dropped the intake manifold in and torqued it to its maximum 35 to 40 pound-feet. Finally, he finished torquing the heads. This secret sequence uses the massive iron intake as a structural jig, locking the triplane seal into perfect geometric alignment before the engine ever feels a drop of coolant. Today, a massive brand war is raging in the aftermarket, and navigating it is a minefield. You have premium options like Felpro utilizing PrintoSeal technology with raised elastomer beads for focused clamping force, and Cometic offering multi-layer steel. But the market is also flooded with cheap, generic white box kits that still rely on the flawed cork technology of the 1960s. The real-world difference is brutal. A builder using a white box cork kit might see an internal coolant bleed within just a few weeks of driving, while the localized pressure of a modern engineered bead can actually survive the Hemi's thermal expansion for decades. But the biggest trap? NOS, or new old stock. Mopar purists will gladly pay a premium for a genuine 1960s or 70s factory gasket set, believing it is the holy grail of authenticity. It is a costly mistake. Those 50-year-old organic binders and glues have crystallized and become extremely brittle. They are dead on arrival. The second they are exposed to modern 2-EHA coolants and engine heat, they shatter, sending your build straight back to the machine shop. Ultimately, this is not just a story about a cheap gasket. It is a story about the silent loss of OEM tolerances. As the original Chrysler engineers pass away, the intricate, often overlooked secrets of the 426 Hemi are being forgotten. Today's builders are mistakenly applying forgiving Chevy logic to the highly sensitive Mopar elephant, exposing its fundamental reliance on perfect geometry. We are witnessing a crisis of preservation. If the restoration community does not start respecting the extreme precision required by the Hemis triplane seal, the next generation will not inherit muscle cars. Within a decade, these majestic six-figure iron titans will all end up as nothing more than cast iron boat anchors. Do not just assemble your engine, prove it. The ultimate preservation ritual is performing a pressure test on the intake valley before that fateful first fire. In the world of the elephant engine, precision is the only difference between a six-figure legend and a 700-pound lawn ornament. Drop your worst engine horror stories in the comments below. Share this with a builder who needs to hear it, and let us work together to save the Hemi.